Jaya Jaya Navala Kishore Jaya Gopi Chit Chor Prabhu Jaya Jaya Makhan Chor Jaya Jaya Makhan Chor श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की उपस्थित
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru and Gauranga. I extend my heartfelt gratitude and warm welcome to all the senior Vaishnavas of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. I also welcome all the devotees who have assembled here live on Zoom platform in both the languages English and Hindi. I also extend my greetings and welcome to the devotees who join us on YouTube and Facebook, both offline and online. And I especially welcome and extend my gratitude to the Sharma family who have organized this beautiful 309th Katha in the loving memory of Amar Chand Sharma. So I welcome Srimati Asha Sharma Mataji from Delhi and her family from US, her daughter and son-in-law Dr. Anjali and Sanjay Nandwani, her daughter and son-in-law Monica and Akhil Chabra, her daughter and son-in-law Vandana Mataji and Kshitij Ray, and also his son and daughter-in-law Gaurav and Shreyashi, and also her grandchildren Aishwarya, Tushar, Harsh, Ahana, Urmika, Sahil, Ahan, and Arush. So I welcome each one of you to the seventh day Katha. So I welcome each one of you. Hare Krishna, Radhe Shyam.
मैं विशेष स्मरण करूंगा
I would also like to remember Gupta family and also the ancestor of Gupta family, Sri Ram Avatar Gupta from Rohtak. Sri Vibha Mataji from Rohtak have also contributed to this katha in the loving memory of Sri Ram Avatar Gupta ji and entire ancestors. Talking about and narrating the Pitru Mahima, the glory of ancestors. 15 days have gone by, a fortnight has passed by, and finally today we would be narrating and we would be listening to the glory of Pitru for the final day. Though Bhagvat Katha would continue for sure, and we would continue to do it without an iota of doubt. But those who have given us to this life, those who have brought us up, such parents, such mother and father, the glory of such parents and mother and father, their glory we have discussed and understood in the last 14 days, and we shall do it today as well. If you can recall, we began with the glory of ancestors with one word, and with the same word we shall bring it to a conclusion. In this world, if you see, recalling Lord Hanuman, I had mentioned that There's somebody who is lucky and who is comfortably luckily placed and greatly luckily placed. So, at the utmost position, most fortunate person or most lucky person is who? So, if we directly walk up to Lord Shri Ram and try to seek an answer, so who is the most fortunate? So, if I talk about who shall be most fortunate, it goes something like this, that Lord Shri Ram is about to get coronated, and everyone had their joys at the 11th sky that Lord Shri Ram would be coronated. But those demigods who were sitting in heavens did not feel happy. They did not have any joy. Now, there's something, dear devotees, I want to share with you. There is something good which is happening in your life. So the expectation that everyone would be happy about it is the worst expectation that you can have. Because for sure there would be certain people who would not enjoy and like your good event. So here we are. Even the coronation of Lord Ram did not bring happiness to everybody. For example, demigods did not feel happy about it. Dashaji was really happy. The subjects of Ayodhya were real happy, but the demigods and goddesses were not happy about it. Goswami Tulsidas ji had written very strongly and very beautifully about this, that though they stay at a very highly elevated place, but that their thoughts are very lowly placed. Looking at somebody's promotion and progressiveness, if somebody develops jealousy in the heart, this is a very lowly placed thought. An individual does not become great and wise staying in buildings and palaces worth crores and crores of rupees. An individual becomes wise and great. An individual can be called great and wise if and only if he has elevated thoughts. For example, an individual must become happy looking at anybody's success and progressiveness. So, Lord Ram is about to be coronated, and all the demigods and demigoddesses had developed strong jealousy and sorrow that Lord Shri Ram should not be coronated at all, and he should be sent to the woods and forests. And then Devi Saraswati was summoned and she was requested that must you go to Ayodhya and manipulate the mind of somebody and get Lord Ram sent to the forest. Hua, Goddess Saraswati got conditioned by the urges of the demigods and demigoddesses. So Devi Saraswati went to Ayodhya, but she could not find anyone, and she came back and said that those who have consumed the water of Saryu, it's tough for me to manipulate and condition their minds. The point that I want to get across is even in this age of Kali Yuga, there would be many a people who want to manipulate and condition our minds. But those who have understood the philosophy of Srila Prabhupada, those who have accepted the leadership of Srila Prabhupada, those who have surrendered at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and Gaudiya parampara and tradition, it would be tough for anyone to condition and manipulate their minds and heart. Now, Devi Saraswati could not find even a single individual whose mind and heart I can condition. But as the search was on, she got to develop and locate one entity, an individual. So you all are aware of this character and entity. Her name was Manthara, and she was the servant of Kaikai. She had come to Ayodhya when Kaikai was married to Dashrath. In entire Ramayana, nobody ever gets to know that where was Manthara born or who was her father. Now you see, Kaikeyi did have Manthara at her service, but she never knew any of her background. So one message that we understand here is that we must have association of people whose background we are aware of. Because if we do not know the background, such an individual can be really harmful to a spiritual life. Anyways, the point that I want to get across is the intellect, mind, and heart of Kaikai was manipulated and conditioned by Saraswati ji. And now Mantra did the same for Devi Kaikai. And now Kaikai was being asked by Mantra to ask for the two boons Dashrath ji had committed to her. Now, Keke summoned Dashrathi, and when she was able to get control over Dashrathi, and she asked for two boons, which one? Number one, that her son Bharat be declared as the king of Ayodhya, and second boon, that Ram be sent to exile for 14 years. Just as in a dense forest, the lightning falls down, similarly, Dashrath Maharaj came down to the floor being lifeless, just as a rider on the elephant falls down. He was extremely grievous and he started weeping and crying, and almost in a unconscious stage, he started making requests to Kakaiji. When almost Dashrath was completely unconscious, she summoned Sumant and asked him to summon Sri Ram in the palace of Kakai. Now, when Lord Ram entered the palace of Kakai and Kakai was standing, Lord Shri Ram looked at Dashrath and asked, "Oh, my father, why are you in this state of unconsciousness? Tell me, what can I do to help you become better?" Now, how come? Just try to understand the situation of Dashrath, that how come he could say, "Oh, son, you need to go to forest for 14 years." Now, when Dashrath could not utter anything, Lord Shri Ram looked at Kaikeyi and asked, "Oh, my mother, my father is not able to speak, and you love me really, really well. Why don't you tell me that what is the reason behind the state of my father, and what can I do to relieve him of?" So Kaikeyi said that your father had committed two boons to me, and one of the boons was that Ram, you shall not be coronated but your brother Bharat. Hearing this from Kaikeyi, Lord Shriram became so happy that, "Oh, my mother, throughout the night I could not sleep because I was worried and tense that I should not be becoming the king. Rather, my younger brother Bharat should become the king. Oh, my mother, what a wonderful thing that you have stated. You have given me a reason to be happy about. This is not something that needs to be grievous about. Now, what is the second boon, oh, my mother?" And then Kaikeyi said, "Oh, my son, Ram, abandoning everything from the royal palace life, adopting the form of a sage, must you go to the forest for 14 years? 14 years because, as per the system of Shastras, if an individual stays outside the forest for 14 years, then he does not remain eligible to become the king again. Now, dear devotees, pay attention to this. Had it been a son of the age of Kali Yuga, he would created a ruckus at this. Ram, who was about to become the king, post an hour. But when you see, forget about becoming the king. he would now be being sent to the forest. And what he said is there in the form of chaupai before you on the screen by Goswami Tulsidas.
जननी सोई सुत बड़ भागी जो पीतु मातु बचन अनुरागी तनय मातु पीतु तोषनी तनय मातु पीतु दुर्लभ जननी सकल संसारा हे दुर्लभ जननी सकल संसारा. राम जी ने ये बहुत सुंदर
Lord
बात
Shri Ram said this very beautiful chaupai. When Kaikeyi said 14 years of exile, Lord Shri Ram said, "Oh my mother, oh my mother, oh my creator." Now, if I was to ask you, who was the creator of Lord Shri Ram, it was Kaushalya Mata and not Kaikeyi. But here Lord Shri Ram calls Kaikeyi his creator, his mother. This is a very beautiful utterance. You see, if you really want to enjoy and understand Ramayan, this word, which is Janani, the words of Lord Shri Ram, oh my creator, this is a very beautiful instance. Is Kaikeyi the creator or Janani of Shri Ram? So now the question here is why Shri Ram calls Kaikeyi as a creator. The crux, the meaning of this utterance of Shri Ram is that the birth to the Prince of Ayodhya has been given by Kaushalya, but by commanding, by ordering the 14 years of exile, you have given me the birth of being the king of entire universe, because have you or would you not order me to go towards, then the demons would not be killed, the sages and saints would not be liberated. So to deliver and to liberate all those people, you see, Kaikeyi has given the right to Shri Ram by ordering him to go towards. So the crown prince of Ayodhya was given birth by Kaushalya, but the crown prince of the entire universe, whom Shri Ram is required to deliver and liberate, Kaikeyi has given birth today when she ordered 14 years of exile. In this world, the son who has love and affection and respect towards the words of mother and father, that son alone is considered to be fortunate. The one who exercises love towards parents is fortunate enough.
मैं यहाँ न्यूज़पेपर खोलकर बैठूं कि भाई आज के अखबार में ये लिखा है, केवल कचड़े के अलावा कुछ नहीं मिलता.
So you see, every time I do the katha, people say, I only talk about Lord Ram and Lord Krishna. Didi, what do I talk about? What else should I talk about? You pick up a newspaper and you find such corrupt and such lowly placed events and things happening. Our life can be meaningful only when we listen to great characters and personalities like Lord Shri Ram and Krishna. And you see, we can only be liberated and we can only be fortunate by listening to such great personalities like Lord Ram and Lord Krishna. So, Lord Shri Ram now goes on to say further, only such a son can be considered fortunate who exercises love and affection towards the words and utterances of his parents, and a son who is able to offer happiness, who's able to create happiness for the parents. So, a son, the child who can give happiness to the parents, are very, very rare. And today, if I observe your command and order, I for sure am going to register my name in the list of those rare children who are able to offer happiness to their parents by by executing the command and order of the parent. So I consider myself very, very fortunate that today, just because of you, I'm getting an opportunity to register my names in the list of those rare children who are able to offer happiness to the parents by executing their orders. Now, I was meditating upon this, pondering upon this, offering happiness to parents, offering services to parents. See, there are two things. There are two things that we must ponder over because we are, going on with this Shraddh Paksha. So one is Pitru Kriya, the activities, the acts performed for Pitru, and the other one is Pitru Agya, those who are alive, the parents who are alive, and their orders and commands. See, of today, these days, people are taking a lot of interest in Pitru Kriya, performance or act towards ancestors. And even Amit Narayan Prabhu keeps on sharing that such and such devotee are offering such services. No doubt that we should do it. Sri Ram did, Sri Krishna did, but along with the performance and acts for ancestors, there is another very important thing which is called as executing and following the orders and command of parents. Now the question is, which is more important, the orders and commands of parents or the Pitru Kriya? For example, throughout the life, one never listened to the orders and commands of parents, but after the death, after the passing away, then people engage in Pitru Kriya. So doing Pitru Kriya is really very important, but what is also more important is executing the orders and commands of the parents. So if you ask me, I would say that Pitru Agya or executing the orders and command of parents is far more important than Pitru Kriya. And this also we can understand by the character portrayed by Lord Shri Ram. Lord Shri Ram is Parabrahm. He is all knowledgeable. He knows all past, present, and future. Imagine if Lord Shri Ram, when he was abandoning Ayodhya, moving towards forest, were he not aware of the fact that his father would leave the body soon, and then that Lord Shri Ram had taken a vow that I would exile, that I would stay in forest for 14 years in the form of a sage and saint, and I would not go to any city or town. I would spend all the time in forests. So, do you think Lord Shri Ram was not aware of this? Certainly, Lord Shri Ram was very well aware of this. So, I would. So, Lord Shri Ram was completely aware that being the eldest son, But still, the fact is, I would be missing out on Pitru Kriya because I need to execute the orders and command of my mother
तो उस समय राम जी ने
and
पितृ
father.
क्रिया को उत्तम नहीं माना, पितृ की
So,
आज्ञा को
Lord
उत्तम
Ram
माना
was very well aware of it,
कि मेरे
that he
पिता
would
का
not be
वचन
able to
है,
come
वन में जाएंगे,
and perform the last
मेरी
rites of
मैया
his
का
father.
वचन है,
But
धर्म
Lord
है,
Shri Ram
मुझे
gave and
14 वर्ष
attached
वन में जाना
importance
है।
more to the orders and commands of parents, which is Pitru
भगवान
Agya
रामचंद्र जी
instead
ने
of Pitru Kriya.
आचरण से
So Lord
सिद्धांत
Shri Ram, by his conduct,
चरितार्थ किया
established this principle for us,
कि पितृ क्रिया से पितृ आज्ञा उत्तम होती है।
that Pitru Agya
और
is
रामायण में तो
highly
यहाँ
praised
तक
than
लिखा
Pitru
गया है
Kriya. And you see in
कि
Ramayan ji, there's
हमारे
I
गुरु
mentioned that
पिता
our
माता
Guru,
या हमारे
Mother,
स्वामी
Father,
जब
our
हमें कोई
Master,
आज्ञा देते
when
हैं
they
तो उस आज्ञा को
issue a command and order
चिट्ठी
to
मारे
us,
बिना उसे बिना कुछ
so without applying any
हेजिटेट
intellect
किए
or
मानना
reasoning
पड़ता
of
है।
mind, one must obey those
मैं
orders
अपने
and
ग्रंथ में लिखा
commands.
हूँ,
I
आपको
want
मालूम
to
होगा,
present before you the shloka which is there
गुरु
on the screens before
पितु
you.
मातु स्वामी, ये चार प्रकार
So
के
it
लोग
is the four different
हमारे
people,
गुरु,
the Guru,
हमारे पिता,
our
हमारी माता
Father,
और
our
हमारे स्वामी।
Mother,
स्वामी माने हमारे
and
ईश्वर।
our Ishwar or
जैसे
Lord.
कृष्ण ने गीता में आज्ञा दे रखी है, कुछ भागवत में। सो गुरु पितु मातु
So
स्वामी,
Guru,
ये जो
Father,
गुरु
Mother,
ये जो
and Lord
गुरु
of God,
हमारे लिए हित ही
whatever
करेंगे,
they shall utter, they
लेकिन
shall
हम
only
हमारे
speak
हैं।
with our
कुछ
welfare,
देहभागी होने के
with
कारण,
our betterment.
दूरदृष्टि नहीं
But
होने
you
के
see, the
कारण
problem with us
हमें
is
हमारे गुरु की
because we
बातों
do
की
not
नहीं
have
आती
that
है।
foresight, because our
हमारी
intellect is
आज्ञा
very,
हमारी
very
बातों को
narrow and
हमको
limited,
तत्कालीन समझ में नहीं
we
आती
do
है।
not understand
हम लोग हमारी
the
मजबूरी
purpose
में
and
करते हैं
aspect
और फिर
of
आगे
the
जाके
order
जब
and command of
जीते हैं,
parents, Guru,
ठोकर खाते हैं,
and God.
फिर
So,
जीवन
what
में
do?
कुछ उसके अलावा।
We disobey that order and command, and as we move
इतिहास कहता
further,
है
we realize our
जब
mistake
गौतम ऋषि ने
and
अहल्या को
that
श्राद्ध दिया,
we suffer. So, only
उस
then we
संकटकालीन
realize.
स्थिति में अहल्या को यही लगा कि मेरे
So you
पति
see,
की हत्या
Shastra's
करूं,
best testimony to this
मेरी
fact
कोई
that
गलती
when
नहीं,
Gautam Muni
मेरे
heard
पति
the
का नहीं,
curse
मेरे पति ने
at
मुझसे
Ahilya,
बहुत
she
बड़ी
had this feel
अपराध किया,
that her husband had
हत्या
been
तो
very,
की,
very cruel and tough towards him.
लेकिन
Ahilya ji
इतनी
could
ही
not
के बाद
understand
स्वयं भगवान
that her
रामचंद्र आए
husband
और अपने
had
चरण कमल
actually
अहल्या
been
के
a
मस्तक
very
पे रखे और बड़े बड़े
futuristic
योगियों
and
को वहां पर बुलाए,
far-sighted individual.
तपस्वियों को,
She
ध्यानियों
only
को
understood
बुलाए,
later
वो
when Lord
उनका
Shri Ram
अनुग्रह पाके
entered
प्राप्त हो गए, तब
the
उन्होंने
kutir of
कहा
Ahilya and
कि हे
liberated Ahilya.
भक्तिमाना
Then
अति
she
धर्मिष्ठा,
realized that
मेरे
what
पति
was the
ने जो
purpose and
किया था,
aspect
जो मुझे
of
श्राद्ध
her
दिया था,
husband
वो
and the
बहुत अच्छा
purpose
काम
of
किया था,
hurling a
क्योंकि
curse
ये
at
मनुष्य ने
Ahilya.
नहीं दिया
She
होता,
realized and confessed
करोड़ों
that
करोड़ों
had
जन्म
my
लेकर भी
husband
जिस
not
भक्ति से
given me the
प्राप्त नहीं हो
curse,
सकती है, उस भक्ति
without
का
that
दर्शन,
I would not
उनके चरण
been
कमल
able
और
to
उनके
have
चरण कमल को धरि
darshans
धरि मस्तक पे
of
रख देना
the lotus
कि
feet
मेरे पति
of
के
Lord Shri
श्राद्ध का
Ram,
जो
who is
प्रभाव
very, very rare
उसे
even
आत्मा
to
से
the
नहीं जानती
yogis,
है।
tapasvis, and
तो मैं
sages.
कहना चाहता हूँ गुरु पितु मातु
So the
स्वामी ये
point that I
देखिए
want to get
कि
across
हमारे
is
ऋषि जब कोई कुछ कहते हैं
when our
तो वो
elders,
हमारे हित के
Guru,
लिए होता
Father,
है,
Mother,
जो
and God,
तत्कालीन हमें
whenever
समझ में
they
नहीं
say
आता
something,
और
it is
हमारे
only
गुरु
for
की
our
ऐसी
good.
बात समझ में आ
But
जाती तो हम ही गुरु
upon
कहते,
that moment, we do not understand the
यदि व्यक्ति की
purpose.
सारी बात
You
समझ में आ
see,
जाती
and I can
तो प्रश्न
understand the
क्या है।
limitation because if we were able to comprehend
जब हम
everything,
पैसे
then
से
we would
संसाधन
ourselves becomes a guru
शिक्षा
ourselves.
देते ना फार्मेसी में जाने के लिए, तो हमें तो दवाई समझ ही नहीं आती है,
You see, when we go to a
हमें दुकान
doctor,
वाले कैसे दवाई
if we are able
समझाएंगे।
to understand everything, then we would ourselves
कहते
become a doctor
हैं
and do not
तो फिर
require
हम
a
डॉक्टर नहीं
doctor.
बन रहे होते।
And you see, when
हमारे
he
माता
gives us a
पिता पूज्य
prescription,
माता
he
का
scribbles
पिता बोलते हैं
something
ना,
which we
अपर
are not
अनुभव
able to understand, but somehow the pharmacist is
भागवत का
able to
अनुभव होता है।
comprehend. So, see, that's the difference. If we
नारद
would
जी
understand everything, we would ourselves become a
पूरे धन
doctor.
धन के धनाढ्य देवता कुबेर के दो पुत्र
So,
नल
two,
और
two
मणिग्रीव,
sons,
ये दोनों को श्राद्ध
Nalkuber
दिया
and Manigriv, were hurled a
कि
curse
तुम
by
ऐसा
Naradji
अपराध कर रहे हो,
that
जब
because you're
तुम
committing
एक
such
वृक्ष को
huge
तोड़ोगे,
offenses, must you
तो इन
become
दोनों के
trees.
मन में हुआ कि ये साधु ने हमको वृक्ष
Now,
को
both these
अच्छे
sons
खासे हम दोनों ने
had
हमको
this
वृक्ष
thought
बना दिया।
that how come this sadhu has transformed us
उस
into
समय समझ
tree?
नहीं पाए,
And at that time, they could not
लेकिन महाराज
understand
जब
that
श्राद्ध
what is the
करने गए और
significance of
वृंदा
this.
बाबा के आंगन में
You see,
इतना
Naradji heard a
अच्छा
curse that you would
वृक्ष
become
और अपनी आंखों से
trees
कृष्ण का दर्शन
at the
किया,
courtyard of
लेकिन
Nand Maharaj.
4-5 साल में उनका उद्धार कर
And you
दिया,
see,
तब
at
उन्होंने
the
समझ
age
पाया।
of 45 years,
महाराज
Lord
कहते हैं ना,
Krishna
साधु जी ने
liberated
जिन्हें जो
both these
श्राप दिया है,
brothers.
भाव
That
देखिए
time they
कैसे,
realized the
लेकिन फिर
significance
वही
of the
बात,
curse
गुरु जी
hurled by
कहते
Naradji.
हैं,
So you
माता
see,
पिता
it happens
कहते
this
हैं,
way whenever
तो हमें
mother,
कहीं अच्छा नहीं
father,
लगता,
parents, and guru,
लेकिन
they
उसका
rebuke us
रिजल्ट जो है ना
with
बहुत अच्छा
immediate
होता है।
effect at the
बड़े
instant,
लोगों
at
की
the
बात
instant.
भी
We do not like it.
आशीर्वाद होती है,
But you
वरदान
see,
होती है।
such
एक चीज
rebuking
समझ
in
लीजिएगा,
itself is also a
वेदांत का
boon.
सिद्धांत है
In
कि
itself
आपके
is
मन में
very,
कोई
very
आपका गुरु
liberating. And
हो,
this is
आपका
my
जो
principle that
आपको
I
बताए,
follow, that
तो समझिए
whenever
वो
your
आपसे
guru,
प्यार कर रहा है।
mother and father and
देखिए
Lord
दाता
rebukes
उसे
you,
जाता है
it
जिसके
means
प्रति
what?
प्रेम होता
That they
है,
love you the most,
क्योंकि
because who
पड़ोसी
shall
है
be
तो उसका
rebuked?
पॉलिसी होता है
Your
कि
own
नहीं आप
self,
बहुत अच्छे हैं,
your
आप बहुत
people who are
अच्छे
near
हैं,
and dear
आपका
to you,
आचरण अच्छा
close to
है।
your
लेकिन
heart,
जो अपना होता
alone
है
shall
उसका कान
be
पकड़ा जाता
rebuked.
है,
Because those who belong to us
क्योंकि अपना व्यक्ति
shall
तो
only
सुन
be
नहीं सकता,
rebuked. The ears of only
लेकिन
the
जिससे प्रेम
people
होता है
who are close to us can be pulled,
स्वतः
and
रूप
not
से सुन
those,
सकता है।
who are distant
सो गुरु
from us,
पितु,
or
अब इस
those
श्लोक को समझते
whom
हैं।
we do not
गुरु
consider as
पितु
ours.
मातु स्वामी,
So,
जो
coming
हित
back to the
वाणी ये जो वाणी
Chaupai,
बोलते हैं ना, वो हमारे हित के लिए
Guru
होती है।
Pitu Matu Swami
शुभ शुभ
Hitabani means
घटिया
whatever
करिया
Guru,
फल जानी,
father or mother or
जब ये
Lord would
चारों
say
लोग
is
बोलते हैं
the things,
तो हमें
those are the
प्रसन्न
things
होकर
for
उसे
our own
स्वीकार कर लेना
favor
चाहिए।
and our
भले
welfare.
हमको वो
So
लगता है कि वो
whenever
समय
they
इमीडिएट
utter
समझ में ना
anything
आए,
or whenever they
लेकिन
issue
फिर
an
भी
order
उसे
or
कर
command
लेना
to us,
चाहिए,
must
क्योंकि
we
वो कभी
accept
कभी
that order,
परमात्मा उनके
command
दिल से गलत बुलवाएंगे ही नहीं।
absolutely
यदि आपको श्रद्धा
blindly?
होगी तो
Because you
गुरु में,
see,
पिता में,
if
माता
you
में
have
श्रद्धा होगी
affection, love, and dedication and devotion
और फिर
towards your
किसी
mother, father,
किसी
guru,
चीज
and
को
Lord, then you see,
काम के
Lord
लायक
will always
ये
ensure
राजा है
that they
महाराज।
do not say anything
परीक्षित जी महाराज
untoward.
कहते हैं कि गुरु पिता माता और स्वामी के जो वचन है, उस वचन पर उचित के अनुचित
So
ये
you
जो मेरे
see,
माता पिता
Bharatji
कह
had
रहे हैं
also
ना,
said
ये
something
अच्छा
like
गलत
this in the second
ये
line,
जो हमारे गुरु जी
that
कह रहे हैं वो सही है या गलत है,
applying the reason
ये
whether
जो कह दिया
the
ऐसा कह
utterance
दिए
of Guru,
बगल में
Father,
कोई
Mother,
चीज
and
नहीं,
Lord is correct
ये
or
गुरु पिता
incorrect, is
माता
fair
और
or
स्वामी
unfair,
के वचन
this
पर
kind of
अच्छा
reasoning
या बुरा
should not be
ऐसा अगर
applied.
विचार
One
आ
should
जाए
not have a thought
तो धर्म
whether
पूर्ण
or
उसका अर्थ
not
स्पष्ट हो जाता
the
है।
utterance
तो
and
धर्म
command
जब
and
कह
order
रहा
of
है
Guru, Father, Mother, and
वो
God
धर्म के मार्ग
is
पर चला ही नहीं
justified or not.
सकता,
If this
धर्म
kind of
भाई
application of
अपना
reason
सिर
is
काट ले
applied,
भारी,
then the
उस पर बहुत
individual
बड़ा पाप लगता है।
falls from all his spiritual life
या तो
and he gets
गुरु
to
बनो
attract strong sins to himself.
इतना जल्दी किसी
So
के चरणों में
it is
गिरने
like,
की जरूरत नहीं है,
first of all, either
इतना
you
जल्दी
should
नीचे
not
गिरने की
hurry up
जरूरत नहीं है, गुरु
to
बनना
make
चाहो
a guru, but once
और
you
जो
decide
चलते
somebody to be a
हैं गुरु
guru,
के वचन और
must you
चरण कमल
surrender
में लगे,
completely. Any utterance of
अपने
guru
स्वामी के
should
वचन
be
पर
command
स्थिर
for
रखे
you.
होने
It
चाहिए।
should be like a writing on the wall,
सो
which
इस
should
तरीके
not
से
be erased. And hence, in
यहाँ
this
पर
manner,
दृष्टांत भी दिया जाता है।
you see,
आप देखिए जमदग्नि ऋषि ने
Rishi
अपने
Jamdagni
बेटे परशुराम को कहा कि बेटा
told his son
अपने जो
Parshuram,
4
"Oh,
भाई
my
थे,
son, the 4
तुम्हारे पास 4
brothers
बीड़ी मिलती थी,
that you have,
ये चारों भाइयों का गला काट दो। अब
behead all
परशुराम
the
को
4
क्या
brothers."
एक
Now,
भाइयों का गला
imagine,
नहीं काटना
didn't
चाहिए,
Parshuram have any intellect
लेकिन उनके
or
बेटे
intelligence?
जमदग्नि ऋषि ने
But
4 भाइयों का
because
गला
his
काट दिया,
father
तुरंत उसका
ordered
हाथ आया, खच
beheading
खच
of
खच
the
खच
4
चारों को
brothers
उड़ा दिया।
with his axe,
आप लोग ऐसा करेंगे क्या?
Parshuram
इतना आगे जाने की
beheaded
जरूरत
all
नहीं है,
his brothers.
हालांकि
I
आज भी कोई
request you,
ऐसा
you
करता
should
है,
not be doing it.
अपनी क्रूर
And in fact,
भाषा
no
में।
father would say that
ये वो
today in
जमाना
this
था जब
time.
कुछ स्पेशल
See, those were the
सिचुएशन थी,
times, those were special
और उस
circumstance
समय
and
परशुराम जी जानते थे कि
situations.
हमारे पिताजी
And
ने
you
इतना
see,
बड़ा काम
Parshuramji
किया
was
है,
also very well aware
तो
about
कितने
power,
सेंसिटिविटी
effect,
है।
and influence of
लेकिन फिर
Parshuramji,
जब पिताजी
how
गुस्से में हो गए,
elevated the saint his
जमदग्नि ऋषि ने
father
कहा तूने
is.
मेरी बात
Now,
मानी,
when the
मैं
father
तेरा
of
वफादार हूँ,
Parshuramji became
जो
happy,
चाहिए मांग
Jamdagni
ले।
Rishi said, "Oh,
परशुराम जी
my
ने कहा कि
son,
एक काम
I'm
करो,
very,
पहले
very
ये
happy
चारों को
with
जीवित
your
कर दो,
utterance.
ये चारों के जो अंतिम
Ask me
संस्कार
whatever
होंगे
you
इसको फिर से
desire."
जीवित कर दो,
Parshuramji said, "Oh, my father,
ये
if you're
ताकि वो
happy,
स्वप्न में भी
bring
रोना
back
न रहे, कि मैंने
to life my four brothers. And second, what I want is they should never know that I have beheaded them at any point of time. So they should never ever come to know, even in their dreams, that I have beheaded them. And hence, in this manner, we must have full devotion, dedication, and respect towards our parents, our Guru, and our Lord. But you see, all those things were highly applicable and executed by children in the age of Satyug, but then all of them have disappeared in the age of Kali Yuga. So that's how we get to realize that all things have somehow lost their existence in the age of Kali Yuga. Imagine what Bhagirath did and brought Ganga to this earth to liberate his ancestors. But such instances and conduct have become rare in this age. Gradually and progressively, this is getting disappear. So what do we do in this age? Then Ved Vyas Muni offers a solution to such a situation, and this is in the form of shloka before you. When truth starts becoming extinct from somebody's life, so when truth starts disappearing from somebody's life, and then the conduct of being obedient towards parents also starts fainting. And further, day in and day out, a person remains engaged in sense gratification and fulfilling of desires. And the ashram system be given up by individual, and that the individual develops proud for himself, and that there is violence besides you. So if such problems appear in their lives, so if you need a solution to such problems, then what is the solution? And the solution is offered in the second line. So there is just one solution to all the problems that we have mentioned, that must you listen to Shrimad Bhagvat Katha for 7 days. And it is said that other than Bhagvat, in days of Kali Yuga, so doing or performing good deeds, this kind of inspiration one develops from Shrimad Bhagavatam, and there is no other source which can develop this degree of uh, feeling. So being truthful, serving the parents, not developing pride, staying away from violence, all these things can be learned only from Srimad Bhagavatam. And you see, in the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, how can we forget Gokarn Maharaj? Dundukari was the elder brother, and because he got into bad company, and he had started attracting and engaging in sins because of bad association. There was not even a single sin which he was not engaged in, be it alcohol, eating non-vegetarian food, illegitimate association, etc. He was entangled in numerous sins. All the wealth of the father was exterminated, and he had killed his parents, and he killed his mother, and the father went to forests, and you were very well aware of the story that he brought 5 dancers to his home, and those dancers killed Dhundhukari and took away all the wealth of Dhundhukari. So before his time, he died. So he died well before his time, and because he had committed so many sins, he went on to become Pret after death. And you see, when somebody becomes a Pret, there are huge pains. There are immense pains to the body. Those who do not die a natural death, those who commit a suicide, those who leave their body well before time, that they think that they will become happy and liberated before committing suicide. You see what happens? You get into the body of prey. It brings huge pain to the body, and you have to undergo unbearable pain. His brother Gokarn offered Shraddh in Gaya, but when Gokarn came once back to home, he realized that his brother has not been liberated. Then Lord Bhaskar said, your elder brother, if has to be liberated, then you organize a yagna of Shrimad Bhagvat and offer the returns and fruits of Shrimad Bhagvat the week to your brother. Now you see, Gokarnji himself was Vyas.
तो घर का ही वक्ता था, वो खुद ही वक्ता थे.
So he himself was a narrator of Shrimad Bhagavatam.
गोकर्ण जी स्वयं ही भागवत कथा गाने बैठे.
So Gokarnji sat and was getting ready to narrate Shrimad Bhagavatam. All the people came, and you see a bamboo was placed, and the Pret, which is Dhundhukari, came and sat in that bamboo. So 7 days, Shrimad Bhagavatam was being narrated, and that Dhundhukari, you see, who had come. In fact, even we also do not know that even our ancestors, are in which kind of position and state. So Gokarnji narrated Bhagvat Katha, and Dhundhukari was liberated. Now you see, Dhundhukari was asked to do Anumodan. So the fruit and returns of Shri Bhagavatam was given to Dhundhukari. So the Anumodan given by Dhundhukari in the form of the shloka, which is there before you on your screens. So what is the meaning of this?
ये 15 दिन भागवत कथा आपने सुनी और इसका फल यदि आप अपने पितरों को देंगे, आप अपने पूर्वजों को देंगे.
So you have heard this Bhagavatam for 15 days. So the return of this narration that you have heard, if you would offer to your ancestors, what would be their reaction? What would they utter? Is something in the form of shloka before you. So what did Dhundhukari say? It is there in the form of shloka before you.
वार्ता प्रेत पीड़ा विनाशिनी सप्ताहो बीत था धन्य कृष्ण लोक फल प्रद कृष्ण लोक फल प्रद। 7 दिन कथा श्रवण करने के बाद
So listening to the katha for 7 days back to back, Dundukari Pret goes on to say, "Oh my brother, so great are you for my deliverance and liberation. You conducted this katha and you have given me the Shruti Fal of Shrimad Bhagavatam. You are great because this Bhagvat Katha, see this shloka is from Padma Puran. These are the words of Dundukari. Because I was restless for many a days. I was under unbearable pain. So if you would offer the returns of Bhagavatam to your ancestors,
या पितृ बनकर जो पीड़ा मिलती है उस पीड़ा को खत्म कर देती है।
So the pain that a pitra get being a pret, the Shruti Fal of Shrimad Bhagavatam liberates them.
मुझे 2 चीज मिली, ये अनुमोदन है।
So the pret says, I got 2 things. So this is the Anumodana of Dundukari. One, that I have been liberated of the unbearable pain. And the second return that I've got is that I have been able to get the abode of Krishna. He has offered me Golok Vrindavan. Dundukari goes on to say further,
उस व्यक्ति के शरीर में रहने वाले पाप कांपने लगते हैं, ध्रुजने लगते हैं। कब? सप्ताह श्रवणे स्थिते। सप्ताह श्रवण किया नहीं है, सप्ताह श्रवण करने के लिए कोई सोचे, स्थित हो जाए।
So the sins in the body of the prey goes on to start trembling with fear the moment if someone takes a resolution for Shrimad Bhagavatam Katha of 7 days. All the sins start trembling in fear and become fearful the moment if somebody takes a resolution for Bhagavad Katha for 7 days. And just in case if Bhagavad Katha is heard for 7 days, then the sins gets extinguished and exterminated with immediate effect. Further, Dundukari says, be it smaller sins or higher sins, whatever may be the sins, maybe by tongue, by acts, by eyes or ears, whatever may be the category of sins. But if somebody listens to Shrimad Bhagavatam and offers the returns and fruit of Shrimad Bhagavatam to the Pitru, to the ancestors, all the sins shall disappear. You see why I talked about it? Because Sri Vedvyasji has specially written this in the form of shloka before you, that this context, this reference is very, very divine, holy and pure. And if someone listens to this context in Pitru Paksha, then the Pitru goes on for liberation and freedom. But if somebody listens to this regularly, then the person does not come back to this world again. He would be able to attain
तो इस प्रकार से
the abode of the Lord.
परम महिमा है भक्तों।
So this is the
और पितृ
glory of Shrimad Bhagavatam.
बड़ी महिमा है।
And you see there is a great importance and significance and glory of Shrimad Bhagavatam during Pitru Paksha. So you see, Lord Shri Krishna and Balram ji have reached Mathura. So let us travel to Mathura now. So let us listen to some announcements by Amit Narayan Prabhu, and after that we should proceed towards Mathura.
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। सो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद श्रीमान लालगोविंद जी का कि पुनः आज इस श्रीमद् भागवत गीता की पूर्णाहुति के दिन इतनी अद्भुत कथा हमें आस्वादन करने को मिली। और विशेष ये जो पितरों की महिमा अभी हम श्रवण कर रहे हैं, तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद प्रभु जी। और प्रभु जी ने बहुत सुंदर शुरुआत में बताया कि किस प्रकार जब यज्ञ हो रहा था तो देवताओं के अंदर एक भय पैदा हुआ। तो बहुत ही सुंदर श्री प्रभुपाद बताते हैं कि ये भौतिक जगत का नियम है, जहाँ कहाँ कोई व्यक्ति आगे बढ़ता है तो उनसे द्वेष होना ये स्वाभाविक होने लगता है, क्योंकि बिकॉज ऑफ enviousness we are here into this material world or we are here. So परंतु आध्यात्मिक जगत का नियम क्या है, तो गुरु महाराज एक बार कथा में बताते थे कि कैसे श्रीमद् भागवत कथा में भगवान श्री कृष्ण और उतने के ग्वाल बाल सखा घूमते थे, दर्शन करते थे वन में। तो भगवान कभी कभी वन की उस शोभा को दर्शन करने के लिए आगे चले जाते थे, तो ग्वाल बाल उनके पीछे दौड़ते थे और भगवान को प्राप्त करने के लिए, और एक दूसरे को एनकरेज करते थे और क्या बोलते थे, यदि दूर गतम कृष्णो वन शोभयक्षायतम अहम पूर्वम इति संस्पृश्य रे मेरे। So the goopals, they would run and inspire each other to run towards Krishna and touch them and enjoy. तो this is the beauty of भक्ति। जब कोई व्यक्ति भगवत भक्ति में आता है तो जैसे प्रभु जी ने बताया कि वो उनके अंदर भगवत भावना होती है, और किस प्रकार अन्य जो दूसरे व्यक्ति है उनको भी सुखी करने के, उनको आगे बढ़ाने की भावना होती है। तो दिस इज व्हाट भागवतम इज। और इसी के उपरांत एक अन्य विषय है जहाँ पर हम श्रवण करते हैं कि जब समुद्र मंथन हुआ था तो विष का पान, जब मतलब अमृत कलश वहां से निकला था ना, तो वही प्रसंग में आता है कि किस प्रकार यही ऐसे ही श्लोक है, सेम श्लोक यहाँ पर बताते थे कि मित कलिरभूत तेषाम तदा अर्थे तर्षते तेषाम अहम पूर्वम नत्तम इति प्रभो। सो द डेमन्स वर फाइटिंग। क्यों? क्योंकि दे वांटेड टू ड्रिंक फर्स्ट द नेक्टर। तो दिस इज व्हाट द डेमोनिक नेक्टर इज। जैसे प्रभुपाद बताते हैं कि बिकॉज ऑफ लैक ऑफ कृष्ण कॉन्शियसनेस इस प्रकार व्यक्ति अपने इंद्रियों को सुखी करने के लिए उत्सुक रहता है। तो जब व्यक्ति कृष्ण भक्ति में आता है तो भगवान को प्रसन्न करने के लिए उनकी जो सारी प्रयास होते हैं। तो बहुत सुंदर प्रभु जी भागवत कथा को हम रसपान कर रहे हैं, और पितृ की महिमा और भगवान श्री राम ने बताया किस प्रकार महिमा और साथ ही साथ आज्ञा, पितरों की आज्ञा ये कितनी महत्वपूर्ण है। तो हमारे जो अमृत चर्चा परिवार के तथा हमारे इस YouTube फेसबुक के माध्यम से जुड़े हुए भक्त वृंद हैं, उनके जीवन में तो ये दोनों दिखी जा रही है कि वह पितृ महिमा को भी इतना प्राधान्य देते हैं तथा पितृ आज्ञा को भी। तो ऐसे अनेक वैष्णव हैं जिन्होंने इस श्राद्ध पक्ष के अंतर्गत सेवा की है। तो क्योंकि चतुर्थी है अमेरिका के हिसाब से, तो ये जो 14 की श्राद्ध के दिन जिन भक्तों ने सेवा की थी उनके उपलक्ष्य में जो दर्शन है हम वो करेंगे, और इसी के पश्चात हम उनके नामों को भी स्मरण करेंगे, उनके पूर्वजों के। तो आज हम श्री राधा गोविंद गौशाला के अंतर्गत ये दर्शन कर रहे हैं, और हमारे जो भक्त वृंद है ये अमृत चर्चा परिवार के तथा हमारे साथ में जुड़े हुए जिन्होंने यहाँ पर सहयोग किया है उनके पितरों के उपलक्ष्य में, उनके नाम कुछ इस प्रकार से कि रमीला बहन रानीगा फैमिली, और रामचरित्र जयसवाल जी, और अंबालाल दया भाई पटेल, और इसी के साथ हमारे स्वर्गीय हमार अमृतलाल मनीलाल जी और अम्बालाल वल्लभ भाई पटेल तथा कांजी बापा परमार और भगू बापा परमार और कांतिलाल मनीलाल देसाई जी तथा लेट चतुर भाई तुलजा भाई पटेल तथा मानक चंद्र जी और पूनम चंद्र जी अग्रवाल और हमारे कल्पना माता जी के पुत्र तेजस प्रभु, जिनकी भागवत कथा हमने कुछ महीने पूर्व हमने श्रवण की थी, और हमारे भीमा दादा जी तथा लक्ष्मण दादा जी और माधव जी भाई तथा रतन बेन, नट्टू भाई और जमुना भाई, इन सभी वैष्णव के स्मरण में तथा उन सभी पितरों के लिए हमारे जो अमृत चर्चा परिवार के सदस्यगण हैं उन्होंने यहाँ पर सेवा की है। तो हम प्रार्थना करेंगे कि जैसे आप अंदर ये जो भावना है इन वैष्णव को प्रसन्न करने की, तृप्त करने की, अपने पितरों के लिए प्रार्थना करते रहेंगे कि आपके अंदर ये सदैव निरंतर बढ़ती रहे, और जिस प्रकार भगवत भक्ति इस प्रकार सेवा करके आप अपने पितरों का उद्धार कर रहे हैं, परंतु इसी से ऊपर आप कृष्ण भक्ति में और अग्रसर हो और अपने पितरों को उस पितृलोक से गोलोक में स्थानांतर करें, ऐसी प्रार्थना है भगवान से हम करते हैं आप सबके लिए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे ये सभी अमृत चर्चा परिवार के वासियों को कि जिन्होंने ये सुंदर सेवा किया है, सहयोग किया है। और आज जैसे हम श्रीमद् भागवत कथा की पूर्णाहुति का समय है, तो जैसे प्रभु जी ने बताया कि आज हम यहाँ पर अनुमोदन श्रवण कर रहे हैं धुंधुकारी का, तो हमारे बीच में भी हमारे अमृत चर्चा परिवार के जो कृष्ण भक्त है, कथा प्रेमी भक्त हैं, वो भी हम आशा करते हैं कि आप भी अपना अनुमोदन प्रकट करेंगे, और इसके लिए आप हमें अपना नाम भी दे दीजिएगा ताकि हम आपको आमंत्रित कर सके इसके लिए। तो कुछ सूचना है जो हम शेष आपको कथा के बाद में श्रवण कराएंगे, और अभी के लिए हम निवेदन करते हैं श्रीमान लाल गोविंद जी से कि ये शेष कथा वो श्रवण। हरे कृष्णा।
मल्लानामशनी नृणां नरवर स्त्रीणां स्मरो मूर्तिमान् गोपानां स्वजनो सतां क्षितिभुजाम् शास्तास्वपि त्रोषिषु मृत्युर्भोजपते विराड विदुषा तत्वं परं योगिना वृष्णीनां परदेवतेति विदितो रंगं गत साग्रज रंगं गत साग्रज। सो कृष्ण और बलराम किस प्रकार अपने माता पिता के प्रति अनुग्रहित है। भगवत गीता में आत्मा का ज्ञान देने वाले स्वयं भगवान
So
कृष्ण
how Shri Krishna and Shri Balaram are obedient and faithful towards their parents, we can understand this by this context. So, in the last day's katha we have heard, understood how Akrurji brought Shri Krishna and Balaram to Mathura, and we understood how washerman, tailor were liberated by Shri Krishna, gardener Sudama, and ultimately Kubja was liberated.
अब वह दिन आ गया जिस दिन कृष्ण और बलराम को
Now the day arrived
रंग महल में
when
जाना है।
Lord Shri Krishna and Balram Ji
करतब दिखाने के
had
लिए
to
तैयार हैं।
go to Rang Mahal of Kamsa, where everyone is ready to show their performance. Kamsa had planned everything, and
और कृष्ण और बलराम
the auditorium is completely full. And as Shri Krishna and Balram enters the Rang Mahal,
महावत उस हाथी को तिरछा लेकर खड़ा है
and you see the Mahabharat
और कृष्ण को देखकर
is ready
भगवान हाथी को
with his
मुख से
stick
इशारा करता है।
and the elephant.
बिल्कुल
And as Shri
महावत
Krishna enters, he indicates
कृष्ण और
the
बलराम
elephant,
चलने के लिए
and the elephant is now
लेकर दौड़ कर आता है।
all set
श्रीमद्
to
भागवत
attack
जी
Shri
में
Krishna
एक
and
बार वर्णन
Balram.
किया
So elephant is coming, running towards
कि
Shri
महान
Krishna and
अश्व
Balram.
दौड़ने में
It
भी
is a
तेज है।
huge
दूर से तेज
elephant.
दौड़ाता है, जैसे ही कृष्ण के पास पहुंचा कृष्ण
And
को देखा
as
नहीं करते वहीं
he
फुसकी
ran
मारता
towards
है
Shri
और वहां से
Krishna,
सीधा आगे चला गया।
Shri Krishna didn't do
कैसे
much.
कैसे जैसे
As
जैसे
elephant
भगवान
is
महावीर ऐसे
coming
भंग लेकर आए
and running,
कि बोले मैं
Shri Krishna
कृष्ण को
didn't do
नहीं
much,
हराऊं
but he
और तू
just
चल चल।
took aside
फिर
slightly.
कृष्ण को
Now the
देखा महावीर
elephant
कृष्ण थोड़े से बाजू
came
आगे
back
बढ़
running
जाता है।
again. And again, you see, Shri Krishna
5 बार
shifted
ऐसा
to a
किया।
side. Again, the elephant
हाथी को
ran further.
भी जरा क्या करे।
Now, 3, 4 times, Shri Krishna did
श्री
like
कृष्ण और
this.
बलराम ने हाथी को पकड़ा।
Then finally, Shri Krishna and Balram caught hold of the
हाथी
elephant,
के दो बड़े बड़े
made it
दांत
fell on the
ऐसा
ground.
वर्णन है कि
And you
जब
see, there were
कृष्ण
huge
गिर गए
tusks of the
और
elephant.
हाथी के बीच में कृष्ण आ गए
And now,
और हाथी
when
जोर से
the elephant was
हाथी
under the
कृष्ण
grip
के
of
ऊपर बैठ जाता था।
Shri Krishna, the elephant was
इतना
making an
सारा
attempt
हाथी अपने मस्तक में
to
लाया
attack
और
and
वो कुबलिया पीड़ हाथी जैसे
to
ही भगवान
attack
कृष्ण
Shri
चलते
Krishna by
हुए
way of
देखा
his tusks.
कृष्ण बाजू में हो गए और वो
And
दोनों
as the
दांतों को
elephant
बीच में
attempted to
छोटा सा
insert his
दोनों
tusks
दांतों
into
को
Shri
छोड़
Krishna,
दिया
Shri Krishna
और
again took
वहीं वहीं
aside, and this
कृष्ण और
way
बलराम ने उखाड़
the
लिया।
elephant tusks entered the
एक
land,
दांत कृष्ण
the
ने लिया
ground,
एक दांत बलराम ने लिया
and the
और
elephant
फिर वो
underwent
गदा
immense
से उस
pain.
हाथी को
And
धोने
now
लगे
immediately Shri Krishna
और
and
दोनों
Balram
दांतों
caught
को
hold
छोड़
of
दिया
one
और
tusks
कुबलिया पीड़
each
हाथी अपना प्राण
and
त्याग दिया।
dragged the tusks
लोग
out of the
हैरान
body of
कि
elephant,
भैया क्या कर
and
रहे
this
हैं
way the elephant died. Now both
ऐसे
the
ऐसे
brothers are talking to
हथियार
each
नहीं है
other by signs and
हाथी
symbols
दांत से बड़ा हथियार
that,
उनका क्या
oh
हो सकता
brother,
है।
we do not have any
बोले कि
weapons,
हाथी दांत
so
में मत
what
करो
can be a better
तो
weapon
दांत बहुत कीमती होता है।
than the elephant tusks?
तो कृष्ण के हाथ में एक हाथी दांत बलराम के हाथ में और
So
उन्होंने
both the
बोला
brothers
माता से खून
carried
टपक रहा है
one tusk
मतलब
each,
अपने पराक्रम की
from
निशानी दोनों
which
के हाथ में है और दोनों
the
उस
blood
रक्त
is
महल में प्रवेश
dripping.
करते हैं। लाखों की
So
सभा
this is a
मचती है
symbol of
और महाराज
bravery
के उस
of Shri
अखाड़े
Krishna
में
and
प्रवेश करके
Balram.
कृष्ण
And
और
as
बलराम
they are
हाथी के दांत में
advancing
खून टपक रहा है
toward the
प्रवेश कर
palace
रहे हैं
of
और
Kamsa,
उस सभा में बैठे हुए लोगों ने कृष्ण को क्या देखा।
the people sitting in
जिनकी
the
भी भावना
auditorium, how
जैसी
did they look at Shri
प्रभु
Krishna and
में निहित
Balram?
थी
So
तिनकी जैसी
whatever was their feel
उस
towards
रंग
Lord,
महल में जिसकी
in the
जैसी
similar
भावना
form,
थी
they
भगवान
saw
कृष्ण
that form of
उनको
Shri Krishna.
उस रूप में दिखाई दिए।
So Lord
फोटो
Shri
में आप देख
Krishna
सकते हैं
gave darshans,
मल्ला नाम का
whatever
स्वामी
was the feeling
जो
and
कि बहुत
emotion
बड़े
and mood
पहलवान
of the
तगड़े वक्ता
individual.
थे
So the wrestlers, strong
मल्ला नाम उस
wrestlers,
बड़े बड़े पहलवानों को कृष्ण
the
अश्विनी माने
strong of the
साक्षात वज्र के
wrestlers
समान दिखाई दिए
saw Shri Krishna as
जैसे
Vajra,
इंद्र का वज्र चलते हुए आ
that the
रहा
Vajra of Indra has
है।
come
निर्मम
down.
नरवरह उस कंस के रंग महल में जो साधारण मनुष्य बैठे थे
The ordinary
उस
people who were
साधारणों
sitting,
को
they saw
कृष्ण
Shri
नरों में
Krishna
श्रेष्ठ
as
नरवर
the best
नर
amongst
उत्तम
the living
जो
entities,
नवरत्न
Nar
थे।
Uttam, as a gem amongst
फिर आगे
Nar.
कहते हैं स्त्रीनाम स्मरह मूर्तिमान उस मथुरा की स्त्रियों को
The females of
स्मरह
Mathura
माने कामदेव साक्षात कामदेव
saw
मूर्तिमान
Shri
जैसे इस
Krishna
कंस के रंग
as
महल में प्रवेश कर
Kamdev,
रहा हो ऐसी मथुरा
as
की
if
स्त्रियों ने
Kamdev
कृष्ण को
have
देखा।
come down all the way to Mathura. This was the
स्त्रीणाम
view
स्मरः
of
मूर्तिमान गोपानाम
the females
सरोज
of
वक्षस्थलम
Mathura.
गोपों ने
the gope, the cowherds, the gopas saw Shri Krishna as somebody from amongst themselves, and the sages and saints, and also those who had cruel mind and heart, the scoundrel kings. So the scoundrel kings saw Shri Krishna as their death, and the sages and saints saw Shri Krishna as all eternal.
फिर आगे कहते हैं स्वपित्रो, लास्ट में दूसरी लाइन के अंत में स्वपित्रो हो, अपने माता पिता को शिशु हो, अपने पुत्र अपने बालक के रूप में दिखाई दिए.
The mother and father, the mothers and fathers saw Krishna as their own children.
भोजपति कंस को कृष्ण कैसे दिखाई दिए?
Kansa saw Shri Krishna. Krishna appeared to Kansa as his own death. So Kansa saw Shri Krishna as if his own death is approaching towards him. So Krishna appeared as the death of Kansa to Kansa.
अविदुषाम, विदुषाम माने ज्ञानी, अविदुषाम माने अज्ञानी. अज्ञानियों को
So people who were bereft of any intellect,
और तत्वम परम योगी नाम, बड़े बड़े योगियों को कृष्ण परम तत्व के रूप में दिखाई दिए.
so highly elevated,
पर देवता
highly intellectual people saw as the
के रूप में दिखाई दिए.
ultimate element.
फिर कहते हैं एतत् विदितो रंगम गत स अग्रज. इस प्रकार से कृष्ण
And hence, in this manner, different people saw Krishna differently. Krishna appeared differently to different people as Shri Krishna was advancing towards the palace of Kansa with his elder brother Balram. Now, as Shri Krishna entered, there was an announcement that Shri Krishna and Balram has come all the way from Vrij, and they would show their act of bravery. Chandan and Mushtik were to fight with Sri Krishna. Mushtik caught hold of Balram and Chandan caught hold of Sri Krishna. And the entire court, entire assembly was getting restless that how come these tender young boys being caught hold of by so strong wrestlers.
भगवान श्री कृष्ण और बलराम कम थोड़ी उतरने वाले थे. घमासान युद्ध किया.
Immense fight
भगवान कृष्ण ने
was exhibited, and Sri Krishna
तो मारने के लिए
made the opening.
ने चाणूर को मारा.
Sri Krishna killed Chandur and Balram killed Mushtik.
जब ये दोनों मरे तो
And when both these wrestlers died, then Kul and Shal came running. Kul caught hold of Balram and Shal caught hold of Sri Krishna. Again, the fight happened.
पहलवान था जिसका नाम था तोशल.
There was one more wrestler,
कृष्ण के पास आया.
Toshal. He also came running to Sri Krishna.
कृष्ण को पकड़
So Shal and Toshal both caught hold of Sri Krishna. Complete foul game was going on.
राम जी ने कूट को पछाड़ा. कूट
Now Balramji defeated and killed Kut,
भगवान श्री कृष्ण
and Nandana Sri Krishna killed Shal and Toshal.
और बाकी बहुत सारे पहलवान वहां पर थे.
And there were many other numerous wrestlers.
बड़े बड़े चाणूर
But when these 5 strong wrestlers died,
पहलवानों ने सोचा
then all the wrestlers who were remaining
क्या गिनती
got a thought to themselves that if these 5 strong wrestlers could not defeat Shri Krishna and Balram, so what can I do? What can we do? So these wrestlers also ran away. Now, Shri Krishna and Balram got irritated that he has defied all the rules. Then now, what is the consideration? Kansa was at the 3rd floor. Shri Krishna jumped to the 3rd floor, caught hold of Kansa by his hair, and brought him down from 3rd floor to the ground floor. Kansa was shouting strongly and loudly, and at the same time, Shri Krishna recalling the pains of his parents in the jail, Lord Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna hit hard on Kansa's chest with his fist. So Krishna attacked by punches on the chest of Kansa and killed him. You see, we have talked about, we have narrated this story 15, 16 years back in Sholapur, Maharashtra for 16 days. When Kans and others were killed, Krishna and Balram directly went to the jail and prison of Kansa, where Devki and Vasudev were imprisoned. So you see, now what happens? Krishna and Balram are before their parents, Krishna and Balram. Now, understand the mood and situation that Krishna and Balram are facing their parents, the same Krishna who has given full knowledge to Arjun in Kurukshetra. So Krishna is same. On one hand, he becomes the master, and how he is presenting himself here.
कंस के उस कारागार में जाकर
In the prison of Kansa, Shri Krishna started saying, Krishna started speaking. To whom? To father, to Pitru. So you see, we are not deviated anywhere. So Shri Krishna started speaking to his parents along with his brother. So the best amongst the Yaduvamshi, Shri Krishna started saying before his parents with all humility. So Shri Krishna offered Danvat Pranam to both his parents. With all humility, he offered Danvat. And oh my father, oh my mother, he started addressing his parents. And then what does Shri Krishna say? It's marvelous. Shri Krishna says, oh my father, oh my mother, I could not offer any happiness to you. I could not offer any comfort to you. It is the bounden duty of a son to offer happiness and comfort to his parents.
हे माताजी, हे पिताजी,
Oh my father, oh mother, you both had the desire that you get happiness from your sons. Every parent has a desire to get comfort from sons. Oh my father, oh my son, oh my mother, I could not offer you, we both brothers could not offer you comfort of the young age. Neither we have offered you the comfort of the teenage. We could not offer you any kind of comfort and happiness. And we are most fortunate. The biggest misfortune that we had is that we could not stay with you. We could not spend time with you. Look at the high position of our misfortune that due to misfortune, We could not stay with you. We could not stay with you, nearby you. This is our misfortune. Dear devotees, please understand this. In this world, those children who cannot stay with their parents are considered most unfortunate. Who is saying this? The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Himself confessing this. So those who cannot stay near to the parents, we would say, they do not have good fortune. Sri Krishna is considering himself as very much unfortunate that he could not stay with his parents. So mother and father are one of the biggest shelters. Mother and father, parents are one of those immense tree under which the children develops and grooms themselves. The day the shelter disappears, you see, the peace, the calmness, the happiness would be missing. Those children who stays near parents and they get the happiness and the comfort, we were not fortunate to have that. There is nothing that you have not offered us. There's nothing which you have not given to we two brothers. Now this is something very wonderful thing which is being said by Shri Krishna here. You see, whatever is the utterance of Lord Shri Krishna, we must apply it to ourselves towards our parents. So Shri Krishna says, what is it that you have not given us? Oh, my parents, you have given me and Balramji this body, this physical body. You have offered us this body which can go on to establish all the desires that one has. You have given us this body of a human. And not just this, you have not just given up this body, but also you gave the nutrition to this body. But
वो संतान न तयोर याति निर्वेशम, निर्वेशम माने ऋण का बदला.
So when the parents give the body to the children and also give the nutrition, such a child, a child can never pay back the debt to the parents for the body and nutrition that the parents have given. So look at the words of Shri Krishna. Lord Shri Krishna says, even in 100 births, even such 100 births, being a human, one cannot pay back the debt of parents. One cannot settle the debt of the parents.
एक बहुत सुंदर बात कहती है कि यस्तु यो आत्मजः, जो पुत्र या जो पुत्री,
such a son or a daughter. So the word kalp here means for capacity and capability. A son or a daughter who has the capacity, who has all the capacity. So such a child who, despite having the capacity, physical capacity, does not serve the parents and does not serve the parents with his money. So Shri Krishna is attempting to say that the child must attempt to serve the parents not just by body but also by way of money and wealth. And if a child does not serve the parents by money and by body, such an individual would go to hell after death. And in hell, he would be offered his own meat and flesh. So this person, after death, would go to hell and would be fed upon his own body flesh. So, two types of services we must offer to our parents by way of money, by way of physical body. Who is uttering all this? Param Guru Shri Krishna. So those who serve the mother, father, the elderly, wife, guru, Brahmins, or those who have taken refuge. So, despite being capable, if an individual does not offer services to mother, father, elderly, wife, sadhus, guru, and Brahmin, such an individual is a living dead individual. Such a person is dead in the version and vision of Sri Krishna. So an individual who does not offer services to mother, father, guru, sadhus is a walking dead man if he doesn't offer services.
ये कंस के निरंतर उद्विग्न, कंस के द्वारा अनेकों प्रकार के दुख कष्ट आपको दिए गए.
So you have been undergoing immense pain and sufferings at the hands of Kansa, and many years have passed by. Shri Krishna says that the biggest pain that I am undergoing now is that I cannot offer you services. And now Shri Krishna, who carries Sudarshan Chakra with both his folded hands before his parents, goes on to say, "Oh my mother, oh my father, please forgive me, kindly forgive me. Kindly forgive me. I was not able to free you from the clutches of Kansa. I could not come to you, but now I make a promise to you that so far I've not given you any kind of comfort and happiness, but now I shall remain with you. Oh, my mother and father, now I shall not abandon you." Dear devotees, now there's something very important I'm going to talk about. Imagine, what does Shri Krishna say to Brajavasi? That I shall come back in 2 to 5 days. In some time I shall come back. But when Shri Krishna and Balram arrived in Mathura, and when they liberated their parents from the prison of Krishna, so when Shri Krishna and Balramji was asked by their parents that they should not leave, when Devaki and Vasudev said that Krishna and Balram should not leave them, so Shri Krishna sacrificed everything for his parents, Devaki and Vasudevji. So for his parents, he abandoned Brijvasi, his sakhas, and also his lifeblood, the gopis. No, you see, we must understand that one of the segment, one of the version of this abandonment of Shri Krishna the Brijvasis and Gopis is that for his parents, Shri Krishna abandoned his gopis, his sakhas, his Brij for his parents. And what do children do today? That I love particular individual, that particular boy or girl. So today's generation get attracted to some boy or girl, and because of this lust, such children abandons the parents who have given this lifeblood and body. Such kids, such children can never be happy in their lives. If we say that we are engaging in Krishna's worship, the first thing that we must learn from Sri Krishna is that for his parents, Sri Krishna abandoned everything, abandoned his love. This is what should be our first learning from Sri Krishna. Otherwise, imagine what was the degree of love of Radharani towards Sri Krishna. What was the degree of love of gopis towards Sri Krishna? Who could have loved Sri Krishna like gopis and Radharani? Nobody can do that. In this world, you see, there is selfishness everywhere. But because of this selfishness, the kids of today's time abandon their parents. Such kids can never achieve happiness. Because you and me are devotees of Sri Krishna. Hence, we must accept and imbibe this teaching of Sri Krishna. Krishna, throughout his life, never left his parents. And that's the reason Punit Maharaj has written.
Tyare dithu tam mukhadu e punit janna kalja bani chund sho nahi lakho ladavya lad tamne लाड सौ पूरा कर्या लाड ना पुरनार ना लाड कोई भूलशो नहीं लाखों कमाता हो भले लाखों कमाता हो भले माँ बाप थी जे ना ठर्या ये लाख नहीं पण राख छे ये भावना भूलशो नहीं कारण भीने सुई पोते अने सुके सुवडाव्या आपने ये अमीमयी आँखों तना भूलीने भींजवशो नहीं भूलो भले बीजू बधू माँ बाप ने भूलशो नहीं अगणित छे उपकार ए ना ये कदी विसरशो नहीं अगणित छे उपकार ए ना ये कदी विसरशो नहीं धन खर्चता મળશે બધું ધન ખર્ચ મળશે બધું, મળશે નહીં. ધન ખર્ચ મળશે બધું, મળશે નહીં. પલ પલ પુનિત યે ચરણની ચાહના.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So some technical errors there. That's why we just lost Prabhuji over here with us. So we'll just try to get him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. All right. So since we are unable to reach to Prabhuji, and तो निवेदन करेंगे हम अभी क्योंकि समय भी हो चुका है एक्चुअली, तो कि हम सब अभी जो अनुमोदन कार्यक्रम प्रारंभ करेंगे, तो इसलिए कुछ सूचना है हम सर्वप्रथम आपको देना चाहते हैं. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे. तो क्योंकि आज इस भागवत कथा का वैसे भी पुनाहुति दिन है और कुछ आने वाली भागवत कथा है, उस विषय में कुछ सूचना हम आपको देना चाहते हैं जिससे कि आप इस कार्यक्रम में भी जुड़ सको. तो श्रीमद् भागवत कथा गोपी गीत जो कि आने वाले दिन में हम श्रवण करने वाले हैं, हमारे पटेल फैमिली के द्वारा आयोजित है और आने वाली 10 तारीख से लेकर 14 तारीख तक ये भागवत कथा चलेगी और सुबह 10:30 बजे से 1:30 बजे अमेरिका के समय के अनुसार इसका समय है और 8 बजे से लेकर रात को 11 बजे तक भारत के लिए भागवत कथा होने वाली है. तो आप सब इसमें आमंत्रित हैं और इसी के साथ इसके बाद में भी एक बहुत सुंदर भागवत कथा फिजिकल आयोजन हुआ है वॉशिंगटन डीसी में, तो उसी के लिए भी हम आपको उसकी सूचना देना चाहते हैं कि जो भी वक्त यहाँ पर आप अवेलेबल हो सकते हैं वहाँ पर, तो there is a wonderful opportunity where we can meet as Prabhuji personally, and personally take some guidance regarding our progress in bhakti. So you can please go and visit to Washington DC, and there we have a Madhusudan with us who will personally look after you, so you can approach there. So ये भागवत कथा होने वाली है आने वाली 17 अक्टूबर से लेकर 23 अक्टूबर तक. So just letting you know earlier, because you can plan your journey to Washington DC and meet Prabhuji over there. तो हमारे जो इस्कॉन वॉशिंगटन डीसी के ये भक्त वृंद है, इन्होंने ये सुंदर आयोजन किया है हमारे डीसी टेम्पल के पास में ही जो शुभ लक्ष्मी हॉल है उसमें, और यहाँ पर उसका एड्रेस भी दिया गया है, तो आप इसमें जाकर पार्टिसिपेट कीजिएगा. और इसी के साथ में जो प्रोग्राम की हाईलाइट है हम आपको यहाँ पर शेयर कर रहे हैं, ताकि आप इस प्रोग्राम में भी उस हिसाब से आप अपने आप को शेड्यूल कर सके. यदि आप विजिट कर रहे हैं 1 दिन 2 दिन के लिए, तो मेक श्योर यू जस्ट उस समय में आप विजिट करें जहां पर जिस समय भागवत कथा होने वाली है. तो फर्स्ट डे कुछ इस प्रकार से कार्यक्रम है, आप देख रहे हैं. भागवत कथा जो विशेष प्रारंभ होने वाली है दैट इज 4:30 to 7 PM के समय में होने वाली है, और उसके पूर्व भागवत पोथी यात्रा है एंड रिफ्रेशमेंट एंड ऑल. और फ्रॉम डे 2 to 6 the timing is different again, as we'll start from 6 to 6:30 refreshment, and then kirtan 6 to 7, 6:30 to 7. और भागवत कथा का जो समय है उसमें 7 से लेकर 9 बजे तक. तो उससे यानी दिन 2 तारीख से लेकर सेकंड डे से लेकर 6 डे तक इस प्रकार का शेड्यूल है. और अगेन जो 7th डे है उसमें पुनः 4:30 to 7 PM भागवत कथा का समय है. और यस, ये भागवत कथा अगेन विल बी हियरिंग फ्रॉम Zoom एज वेल. सो दोज हु आर अनेबल टू पार्टिसिपेट, आप Zoom पर इसमें पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हो. 7056337056 पर ये उसका यूजर आईडी रहेगा और पासवर्ड है 1008. आप इसको नोट कर इसमें पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हो. 7056 इसमें अपनी प्रेजेंस वर्चुअल भी बना सके. सो वंस अगेन थैंक यू वेरी मच. और क्योंकि somehow we are not able to reach Prabhuji, and we'll continue with our अनुमोदन. और बहुत सारे भक्त की जिज्ञासा हुई है कि since because today is अमावस्या और आज सर्वपितृ श्राद्ध है, so we are they are eagerly waiting to hear the names of their पितृ. So क्योंकि आज अभी ये सेवा अभी प्रारंभ हुई नहीं है, होने वाली है, so we'll make a video of that, and we'll उसके साथ साथ ये जो सारी सेवाएं हैं होने वाली हैं उनका पूरा वीडियो विस्तार रूप से हम रिलीज कर देंगे आने वाले दिनों में, यानी कल से ही मोस्ट प्रोबेबली विल रिलीज देम. सो वेयर यू विल बी एबल टू सी द सेवास डन बाय यू फॉर योर पितृस. सो यू बी एबल टू सी दैट. एंड क्योंकि समय भी हो चुका है, तो अब हम हमारे जो फैमिली है आशा हमारे सर्वप्रथम हम धन्यवाद करते हैं श्रीमान लाल गोविंद जी से. ये जो प्रसंग अभी हमने श्रवण किया है, जो शेष कथा हमने श्रवण की है आफ्टर द ब्रेक, व्हिच टुक इट टू द अनदर लेवल, कि भगवान श्री कृष्ण क्यों मथुरा गए, एंड क्या जो भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने उन श्लोकों के द्वारा अपने आप को कोसा है कि भगवान ने हमेशा उनको कष्ट दिया, माता देवकी और वसुदेव जी को. तो बहुत ही सुंदर भाव प्रकट किया यहाँ पर प्रभु जी ने कि द अनदर मीनिंग व्हाई कृष्णा लेफ्ट वृंदावन, left the their beloved gopis, and left the friends and all. तो एक यहाँ पर दूसरी चीज हमें श्रवण करने को मिली प्रभु जी के मुखारविंद से सर्वप्रथम बार, वो ये है कि वो भी एक प्रकार की मातृ सेवा जो उनका भाव था अपने माता पिता के प्रति, देवकी जी वसुदेव के प्रति, वो यहाँ पर प्रकट किया प्रभु जी ने. सो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद प्रभु जी. और बहुत ही सुंदर हमने लगातार 15 दिन से यहाँ पर श्राद्ध सेवा, पितृ सेवा आस्वादन की है. तो धन्यवाद प्रभु जी, आपने इतनी सब मेहनत की और इतना सारा हमें श्रवण कराया. और विशेष हमारे धन्यवाद हमारे शर्मा परिवार तथा गुप्ता परिवार का, जिन्होंने ये सहयोग किया, और इसके फलस्वरूप आज हम इतनी अद्भुत कथा को आस्वादन कर पा रहे हैं. तो एक बार महामंत्र बोलकर प्रभु जी का तथा हमारे यजमान परिवार का हम आभार प्रकट करें. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. और धन्यवाद हमारे अमृत चर्चा परिवार के सदस्यों का भी, कि बड़े भाव तथा प्रेम के साथ में आपने यहाँ पर अपनी उपस्थिति दी तथा साथ ही साथ इस पितृ सेवा में सहयोग भी किया. तो आप सब भक्तों का भी हम धन्यवाद करते हैं. और निवेदन करें अब हमारे आशा माता जी से, जिनका बड़ा ही मनोरथ था श्रीमान लाल गोविंद जी की कथा ऑर्गेनाइज करने का। पिछले 2014 से she was chasing प्रभु जी to get him to Delhi so that they can hear प्रभु जी। और हमारे जो प्रभु जी हैं उनके हस्बैंड, उनकी स्मरणार्थ में भागवत कथा कराने के लिए प्रभु जी को चेस कर रहे थे, बट फाइनली अब जाकर उनको ये अवसर मिला। शी इज एबल टू कैच प्रभु जी एंड वी आर एबल टू हियर इन दिस वंडरफुल ग्लोरीज ऑफ पितृपक्ष इन दिस पर्व। सो धन्यवाद। और निवेदन करें आशा माता जी से, कृपया अपना माइक ऑन करें माता जी, और आप अपने भाव प्रकट कर सकते हैं, प्लीज माता जी।
आवाज आ रही?
जी माता जी।
हरे कृष्ण। आदरणीय प्रभु जी व समस्त श्रोतागण, सादर प्रणाम। एक बात कहूँ, गिरा अनयन नयन बिन पानी, शब्द नहीं कर पाते हैं समुचित सम्मान तुम्हारा। और आपकी मुंबईया भाषा में कहूँ, ना जुबा को दिखाई देता है, ना निगाहों से बात होती है। आज से पहले असंख्य बार श्री कृष्ण महामंत्र का जाप किया, किंतु उसके वास्तविक अर्थ से अब तक अनभिज्ञ रही। प्रभु श्री कृष्ण से मेरी यही प्रार्थना है कि आप मुझे इस सांसारिक माया विषय वासनाओं से मुक्त कर दें तथा अपने रूप माधुर्य की ओर आकर्षित कर अपनी सेवा के योग्य बनाएं। इस सेविका को आदेश दीजिए जिससे मैं सफलतापूर्वक सद्मार्ग पर चलती रहूं। आपने बताया कि बुद्धि को एक निश्चय होना चाहिए, तभी वो अपने साध्य को पा सकती है। एक ही साधे सब सधे और सब साधे सब जाए। अब श्री कृष्ण ही मेरे साध्य हैं, तथा मैं उनकी दासी हूँ। मुझे यही था कि मेरी भागवत नहीं हो सकी लाल गोविंद दास जी के थ्रू, तो उसके लिए मैं ये कहूंगी, शिकवा नहीं शुक्राना सीख गई, तेरी संगत में खुद को मैं झुकाना सीख। अब बच्चे ये कहते हैं बार बार वृंदावन क्यों जाते हो? मैं कहती हूँ, किसी ने मुझसे पूछा वृंदावन क्यों जाती हूँ, तो मैंने कहा मैंने वृंदावन का कर्ज लिया है और हर महीने किस्त चुकाने जाती। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आशा माता जी। और हमने श्रवण किया माता जी का भाव, इतना अद्भुत था। और जब हम माता जी से बात कर रहे थे कुछ दिन पूर्व, तो माता जी की वैसे हार्दिक इच्छा थी कि मैं अपने जीवन में 11 भागवत कथा कराए। तो अब तक उन्होंने 7 भागवत कथा करा चुके थे, और ये 8वीं भागवत कथा श्रीमान लाल गोविंद जी के मुखारविंद से उन्होंने कराई। और माता जी का ये भी प्रण है कि जो आने वाली भागवत कथा है हम प्रभु जी के मुखारविंद से सुनेंगे। सो इससे हम समझ सकते हैं कि माता जी के हृदय का भाव क्या है। और हम धन्यवाद करते हैं माता जी को, और प्रार्थना करेंगे भगवान से आपके लिए कि आपकी ये जो रति है, मति है, इसी प्रकार प्रगति करती रहे निरंतर भगवत चरण के लिए। और मैं अब निवेदन करना चाहूंगा हमारे आशा माता जी के ही सुपुत्री मोनिका माता जी से, जो कि आज शी वाज सपोज्ड टू रीच टू हर प्लेस, बट समहाउ उनकी फ्लाइट डिले हो गई, तो वापस आ गए और कथा मिस नहीं करना चाहते थे। तो यस माता जी, यू वांट मी टू अनम्यूट दैट डिवाइस? ऑलराइट, ओके। सो यस, आप ये डिवाइस म्यूट कर दीजिएगा माता जी। यस माता जी, ओके। उस डिवाइस को
हरे कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। क्या लाल गोविंद दास जी मुझे सुन पा रहे हैं?
जी जी माता जी, he is able to hear you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll start with the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। प्रभु जी ने तो रुला ही दिया, लास्ट वाली शेष कथा में प्रभु जी ने बहुत रुला दिया। पापा की बहुत याद आई, क्योंकि शायद उनके लिए कुछ ज्यादा कर नहीं पाए। आप सबके चरणों में सादर प्रणाम। सबसे पहले पूरे शर्मा परिवार की ओर से मैं लाल गोविंद दास प्रभु जी, अमित प्रभु जी और पूरी गोविंद टीवी टीम के प्रति आभार प्रकट करना चाहूंगी। और हमारे पिता श्री अमरचंद शर्मा और हमारे सभी पितृजन की स्मृति में 7 दिनों की दिव्य भागवत कथा के लिए मैं जूम और अन्य सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म के माध्यम से कथा के सभी उपस्थित भक्तों को भी धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ।